So, are you feeling just totally overwhelmed by the housing affordability crisis in Wisconsin right now? Seriously, if you're staring at your monthly rent bill and wondering how on earth you're going to make ends meet, I need you to know right now that you are absolutely not alone. The whole landscape of rental pricing has shifted so dramatically lately, and for so many people, finding a stable, affordable place to live, well, it just feels like an impossible puzzle.
Get this, 40%. According to recent housing data, 40% of all renter households in Wisconsin earn less than half of the area median income. I mean, think about that. That is a massive chunk of the state's population operating under intense, everyday financial pressure just to keep a roof over their heads. So if you're struggling, this statistic totally validates your experience. The strain is incredibly real, and the need for assistance is just through the roof.
But there is good news. There's a system in place designed specifically to help, and that is exactly what we're focusing on today. Welcome to this explainer. Think of this as your clear, pragmatic, no-nonsense navigational playbook to finally demystify the Section 8 housing maze in Wisconsin. Look, I know dealing with government bureaucracy can cause a ton of anxiety, but we're going to break it all down step by step so you know exactly what to do.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. Understanding Section 8. 2. Wisconsin eligibility criteria. 3. The application process. 4. Navigating the waiting list. 5. Alternative resources. And 6. Final tips and a brief disclaimer.
Let's dive right into Section 1, Understanding Section 8 Housing. First things first, the official name for Section 8 is actually the Housing Choice Voucher Program, or HCV for short. This is a federal program that helps low to moderate income folks afford housing in the private rental market. And its absolute core feature? The 30% cap. It basically caps the amount of money you personally have to contribute to rent and utilities at roughly 30% of your adjusted income. The housing authority literally pays the rest directly to your landlord. I mean, that cap is an absolute game changer for a household budget.
Now, there are two main types you need to know about. Imagine you get a new job across town. With a tenant-based voucher, which is super highly desired, you can take that subsidy with you to any qualifying private rental. It's basically a golden ticket. But if you have a project-based voucher, the subsidy is tied directly to a specific apartment building. If you move out, you lose the help. Here's the strategic part, though. Because tenant-based waitlists are so often closed, aiming for open project-based waitlists is frequently a really smart way to get immediate help.
All right, moving on to Section 2, Wisconsin eligibility criteria.
So, who actually qualifies? The most crucial point is income, and that's based on your household size and the specific county you live in. What we're looking at here are the statewide baseline limits set by WHEDA, the Wisconsin Housing and Economic Development Authority. To generally qualify, your income can't exceed the 50% area median income limit. So for a single person, that's $36,700. But here's the really critical part. By law, housing authorities have to give 75% of all vouchers to families in the extremely low income bracket. That's the 30% AMI column. So for a family of 4, that means earning $31,450 or less.
Now, beyond just income, they do also look at your assets. But thanks to a fairly recent federal update called the HOTMA rule, this has actually gotten a little bit easier. If your total net family assets are under $50,000, you can often just self-certify that fact when you apply or recertify. This is great because it removes a ton of that tedious, annoying paperwork where you have to prove every single small bank account balance right out of the gate.
However, and this is a big however, you absolutely must be aware of the immediate landmines. There are strict disqualifying factors that will instantly void your eligibility, no matter how low your income is. We're talking things like being evicted from federally assisted housing in the last 5 years, committing fraud in a housing program, owing money to any public housing authority, being on a lifetime sex offender registry, or engaging in drug-related or violent crimes. If any of these apply to anyone in the household, the application is going to be a flat no.
Okay, Section 3, the application process. Let's talk about how to actually get this done.
Here's your exact step-by-step game plan. Step 1. You have to find your local public housing authority, or PHA. Wisconsin's system is pretty fragmented. WHEDA manages some, but places like Milwaukee, Madison, Brown County, and Waukesha all have their own independent agencies. Step 2. Check online to see if their waitlists are even open. Step 3. Gather all your documents before you apply. We're talking social security numbers, IDs, tax returns, pay stubs, the whole shebang. And finally, Step 4, submit your application through that specific agency's digital portal. It might be a system called Reframe or Rent Cafe or Waitlist Check.
While you're going through those steps, please keep this warning list in mind.
These are the most common technicalities that get applications tossed out. Submitting incomplete documentation is a huge one, and never, ever guess on your income. Fraudulent info, even if it's totally accidental, is a disaster. But honestly, the most tragic mistake? Failing to update your mailing address or email. If the housing authority reaches out to say you made it to the top of the list and you don't respond because you moved, you lose your spot. Oh, and a quick aside, never pay an application fee. Scammers will try it, but applying is always 100% free.
This brings us to Section 4, Navigating the Waiting List. Okay, take a deep breath for this one. 890 days. That is the average amount of time Section 8 waitlists in Wisconsin were kept open over a recent 3-year period. It's a tough pill to swallow, I know. The demand for affordable housing just far, far outpaces the supply of vouchers. The brutal reality here is that this process requires immense, persistent patience. You're just not going to get a voucher overnight. Because the wait is so incredibly long, you've got to treat this as an active strategy, not just passively sitting around checking your mailbox. On day 1, you apply. By month 6, you need to be regularly logging into those digital portals to make sure your account is still active. Throughout year 1 and beyond, your absolute top priority is immediately reporting any changes in your address, income, or family size to the PHA. And when selection day finally does come, you have to respond to their message instantly. Do not wait.
Let's look at Section 5, Alternative Resources and Help.
You do not have to navigate this completely alone. There are specialized organizations ready to help you. The Tenant Resource Center is fantastic for legal advice and knowing your rights. Integrated Community Solutions, or ICS, does amazing work connecting applicants in Wisconsin with the right programs. If you're a veteran, experiencing, or at risk of homelessness, please contact your local VA medical center immediately. They actually have specialized VASH vouchers that bypass the standard wait list entirely. And for emergency needs like a quick security deposit, always dial your local 211 service to get plugged into community aid.
And finally, Section 6, Final Tips, and our disclaimer.
I really want to leave you with this quote, because it reminds us exactly why this grueling administrative marathon is worth it. The program is supposed to promote mobility so that renters can move to places with more opportunity. That's from Affordable Housing Online, and they hit the nail on the head. Once you secure a tenant-based voucher, it becomes this incredibly powerful tool for long-term stability. You can eventually use it to move to different neighborhoods or cities or even states, chasing better jobs, better schools, and just a better life.
Now, a quick but important disclaimer. Please remember that housing policies, those median income limits we talked about, and the digital portal procedures, they change pretty frequently based on federal funding and local decisions. So you must always consult the current guidelines of your specific local housing authority or seek professional legal and financial advice. This explainer is strictly for informational purposes to give you a solid foundation, not to serve as personalized legal counsel.
So that brings us to our final question. Are you ready to take the first step? Look, the process is long and the wait is undeniably hard, but the financial security waiting on the other side, it's literally life-changing. Don't let the bureaucracy intimidate you. Start today. Go locate your specific county or city's public housing authority website and just see if their waitlists, either tenant-based or project-based, are open right now. You've got the navigational playbook, so it's time to put it to use. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and seriously, best of luck on your application journey.